Hello everyone. I hope this serves as a really cool and eye-opening tutorial on what BlueBeam Revu and Excel can do together. Um, I have here a little demo that shows you, as a framer, how to do quick takeoff, preliminary quantity takeoff for a 2, 3, or 4-story apartment building that it is comprised of typically 1, 2, and 3 bedroom unit types, and the amount of unit types you may have on the project can go between as little as 3 to as almost a dozen, and it could go beyond or less. By all means, this is no limitation or rule. So let's just jump right into it. I'm going to show you some of the tools we have and how you can easily really break down the whole building into the units that it is made up of, and go through these 3 or dozen units you have and get a takeoff on each one of those units, and then at the end sum them all up. So we have here a chess tool that some of you may be familiar. You can customize as you may see fit, and BlueBeam Revu Extreme offers you the ability to link up that data into your spreadsheet. So the first thing you want to do is I would presume you don't have a spreadsheet set up, and you could have that spreadsheet, and you could ask me to send it out to you, or you can create it yourself. But typically, you go and you make sure your link to the PDF file I work on is set up. So as you can see, once I right-clicked on the cell, quantity link came up. I go and check my source file, and I want to make sure that this is the actual file I'm working on here. Unit A1 Comprehensive Takeoff. Is this the name of my file? And the answer is yes, there it is right here. So since that is confirmed, if it's not the case, you can always change it. You remove it, you click on it, remove it, add a new one, whatever it may be. As you may have to do for each one of the different units that you have. You can get clever, and there's other ways where we can do it all in one file, but we can get to that at another time. So let's move on. Since we know that this is linked now, you can see all these, there's a lot of values that are zeros here. Now what I have highlighted in greens are these values that are pulled from the PDF file. And to quickly demo how cool this is, just briefly at first, I'm going to show you, imagine that I just simply added one HDU 14 hold down to my unit. So I go here, and I go to my HDU 14, and I put it in this corner right here. If I go to my spreadsheet, you could tell, and it should automatically, once I hit enter here, once I go back here, it already updated instantly, and you already have an added $69 cost per unit. So all these numbers, dollar values, these are all made up. So by no means am I a framer or a cost estimator. This is just a tool I've created to demo. Anyways, let's go ahead, and what you have seen here, what we have in front of you here, simply, I'm going to delete that real quick. Again, show you it's zeroed out. What I have here is simply the same unit 4 times. I'm going to use one layout for the floor sheathing, one layout for the shears and shear walls and hold downs, and one for the framing. We're going to assume you have 2x10 joists, and then you have one for the stud walls. So let's tackle the easiest stuff first. Let's assume we have 3/4 inch floor sheathing for this project. So I click on the tool I have on the left, and I would zoom into this area, and I would just go all the way around, these few vertices of this unit that, I know the sheathing is going to extend all the way up to it. And I'll snap to these corners and hit enter. Now there we go, our floor sheathing is done for the floor part of the unit. And let's assume we have, for some reason, beefed up, floor sheathing of the deck. So you go ahead and draw it, and double click it, or enter at the end, and then there you go, you have the square footage. Now as you may notice, there's a D value shown on it. I don't know if you can see it here, but there's a D of 1 inch. This D is meant to refer to the thickness, so you can confirm visually what you drew is correct. So now that we have this is done, I'll just show you and give you an update on how the spreadsheet updated here. Let's take a look at the floor sheathing. And you can tell you have 825 square feet, which is almost the area, the living space of the unit. And then you have the deck area for 1 inch sheathing. Now let's continue. Let's tackle next the shear walls. Now be creative with me here. There's no structural framing shown. Typically, you would have the structural framing plan when you do this, but just imagine that this is already laid out, and I'm going to try to imagine myself and build it. So let's go and start off with shear. We're going to start with the corridors. We're going to assume that the engineer sheared all the way across the corridor here, and then same thing here again. And we'll do that. This is California, and we have a lot of earthquakes here. Now I'm going to draw this interior party wall shear on this side and then this side as well. So quickly done. I'm just going to draw. And then here again, you don't have to be accurate about the location. You're just getting the length out of this after all. And then let's assume that they share the exterior as well. Okay. And I'm going to draw one of all the way across the window because you still have some shear panels cutting across the window at the top and the bottom. So that would do it for the shear panels. And let's try to assume some hold downs. Let's try to assume some hold downs on that are light to heavy, medium to heavy on these party walls here. So I'll put it right there, and then another one right here. It doesn't even matter the location, honestly. It's a matter of just graphically knowing that you're doing this correctly. And there's another one here. And we may benefit from the usually when you see some hold downs that come out of corner for shingles, you may see heavier hold downs like an HG14. That's assuming you don't have an ATS system, which is more common with these 4 to 5 story, but these conventional hold downs are more common for 2 or 3 stories. So these combined ones have heavier hold downs. The front ones, they're standalone will have a lighter hold down. So I'll keep that right here. And then for this perforated wall, I'll put one here, and then I'll put even a lighter one on the inside of it. So I think that almost does it. And we'll put some light ones here. Medium, light, whatever you want to call them. You hit enter. Again, take a quick look at your spreadsheet, make sure it's updating. You can see here the quantity of hold downs. Update it quickly. And then you move on to the next step. So we did 2 out of the 4 yet. Now we leave this all to the end because it's the hardest. But let's do some floor sheathing. And that one you have to be a bit more clever with the joists. Let's assume we have 2x10 joists. And we're going to assume they're framing it all in one direction for the sake of now. We can get into the more detailed aspect of it if we choose to, but for the sake of demoing here, I'm just going to draw the floor joist spanning in the top to bottom direction here, and then doing the same on this side over the bedroom. Not go all the way out, I should have. I'm just going to go all the way out. There we go. These are minor inaccuracies. And then for the bottom end, I'm just going to go left to right here. So there we go. And now you see that the joist is kind of shown as right up top to bottom. This is just merely a hatch. But you would have to rotate this to clearly indicate your intention here. And what that means is you have to redraw it and fix it. So maybe next time you can just simply draw a random miscellaneous shape. There we go. I'm just going to go up to this wall here. And similarly here. And the hatch can just be flipped. So you did a conscious decision here to rotate this wall. As you see that, this is not perfectly a rectangular shape, and this doesn't really matter. This is still an approximate, and it's still pretty accurate for all purposes. So the joists are laid out, and we're going to assume some heavier joists for the deck. And the deck will go back to typical orientation. We'll assume 12 inches on center here. And you'll notice that the actual hatch is drawn a bit narrower to indicate the tighter spacing. So now that our joists are drawn, let's do the final step of build the walls. So let's start with the corridor. We'll have 2x6 staggered, 2x6 plates with 2x4 staggered studs. We're going to call them 2x6 corridor walls for our sake. And this is done. Let's do the party wall 4-inch walls. We'll draw them all the way out. And similarly here, you may notice that, the actual party wall is drawn part 4-inch, part 6-inch. That is true because you have some plumbing, some walls that are thickened for plumbing. We'll ignore that for the sake of this tutorial. And exterior 6-inch wall here. There's my exterior 6-inch wall. And then we'll tackle our interior 4-inch wall. Well, for the sake of this tutorial, we assume all interior walls are 4 inches. Okay, so we're going to do this, that. You see I drew across the opening. You know, you have some cripple framing above. You might as well include it. Well, we'll do some interior 6-inch wall. How about that? Let's just add the washer dryer unit. Let's do some more 4-inch walls again for these little wing walls they have. A little shaft here. And then there we go. Almost there. A few more. Last one. This is all done to scale. You know, you set the scale for each page and yours should be solid. Now you're literally done for this unit. And then if you go here and check out your spreadsheet, you can see that the values are filled in everywhere that certain walls happen. You see we have 30-foot exterior walls, which match the width of the unit almost, except you have that one return. Very few interior 6-inch walls, mostly interior 4-inch walls. Then you have the 23-foot corridor walls. Remember, you discounted the openings, the corridor. You could have included them. Again, and then there's a summation for each of the aspects, and there's a full summation for one unit, and a total summation for all the units. If you had put in a value for how many times this unit occurs. I hope you found this helpful. I hope you're interested in this. If you are, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to supply something like this for your benefits and future business.